up, everybody? I am here today with Big Tuna Ben Parrish. Ben was last on my show about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, and he was coming off of his dub against Christian Edwards, but we're back. Ben, welcome back, man. Good to see you.
It's good to be back, Tyler.
Well,
Loving the additions there.
thank you, thank you. We got I had to do some housekeeping getting ready for you. I had to get my Intercontinental Heavyweight belt up there. And but the one thing that's lacking, I don't really have a lot of like Bellator shit back here. I have Arlene Blenko sticker though. That's close enough.
Oh well, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix that for you. I need to get you some Bellator stuff.
Yeah, man. Like
I
I
see.
should have thought this out better. I should have worn my Bellator shirt, but I'm a failure. Past couple months since I last talked to you, can you talk a little bit about just kind of what you've been up to? You were kind of like in limbo the last time I talked to you. You weren't really sure when you were going to get a fight. Can you talk a little bit like when did you get notified from the folks at Bellator that they wanted you back? And when did you first catch like wind of this fight against Cauley?
I think it was the second week of December. I think I don't remember. It was the first or second week. I want to say. I'm sure they knew about it a week before I did because his teammate is the main event. But either way, I mean, I didn't really stop training, period. So since the last one, because I never knew when they were going to call me. So what I've been doing since the last time we talked is I get up at about 6 a.m., get ready for work, and then I take my daughter to school, get her ready for school, take her to school, go to work, work 8 hours. I get off work, I go pick her up from school, I come to the home, eat, chill out for a little bit, go to the gym from about 5:30 to 9 or 8:30, just depending. And then we go back and do it all over again. That's 5 days a week and still train on Saturday and Sunday too. So I'm
I
excited, man. If it goes the way I think it will be the next time we talk will be even better.
I hope so, and we definitely will. For people who don't know, Ben is scheduled to fight on January 29th at Bellator 273 Bader versus Moldavsky in Phoenix. He'll be fighting a young kid named Sullivan Cauley. We'll definitely talk about that. But Ben, I want to shift gears. I know you do a lot of podcasts and you get tired of responding to the same questions over and over. So I came up with some abstract ones for you. I really
Thank you.
know that you're a man of many talents. Other than fighting, like MMA is like a big part of your life. You're a coach, you're an official. You see this game from so many different angles that most fighters I don't think ever will. Can you talk first and foremost a little bit about being a coach, what that experience is like, and can you compare and contrast that to being a fighter from a mental standpoint? Like, how stressful is it getting your guys ready to compete and cornering a fighter? What is
It's more stressful for me because I can't like jump the fence and help them. So it's like I get more anxiety watching my friends fight for sure. And it's coaching is like the best and the worst thing that you can do because while you're going to build up some good coaching relationships and stuff, you're also going to find some bad ones.
sure?
And it's always people don't see this part of it where the in and out people at the gym and the back and forth or the people that had a bunch of talent just fizzled out because of whatever. It's a lot of that too. It's hard. Coaching's pretty hard. I would say coaching, if we talk MMA jobs, hardest to least hard, just out of the ones that I've done, it's going to be fighting is probably the easiest. Coaching probably going to be second hardest, next to judging, and then hardest probably is refing. Um, Commentator and all that other stuff is pretty easy. Those are the. I've never done one of the easier gigs of I actually have done commentary before, but when I was filling out my license earlier today for Arizona, it was like, "Have you ever been licensed in another state? If so, which of these roles did you play?" And I was like, "Well, I've done all of these. I had to list every one of them in Mississippi and Tennessee, and um, so
I'm
I was
surprised.
actually reading that
Color
today,
me ignorant. I just assumed naturally that suits at Bellator filled all that shit out for you guys and then just handed it to you and said, "Sign this."
bro. They have got me doing like you have to do all these medical. People don't realize you have to still pay $25 to get a license in a state.
Nice.
You have to pay in to fight,
Mm,
and then you got to do all your medical stuff. And I've had a lot of media obligations this time and interviews, and I'm
yeah.
thankful for that. Though it is, I wouldn't say it's stressful, but it's more to do. But
Well, it could definitely get repetitive for a while, especially like when you're asking and answering the same stuff all over again. And I wanted to give you the opportunity, like, can you talk a little bit about some of your fighters? Like, do you have a fighter or people, whether they're on the AMI scene or on the local scene in Mississippi, are there any fighters that like you're really excited about and eager to like talk about? Because I know you don't really get an opportunity to talk much about the fighters that are under you.
yes, all of my fighters. The thing about it is, I know that I actually had one the other day asked me how long till I was bringing him on a Bellator with me, and I was like, as soon as I can, brother, I promise. But right now, I think our amateur team has that actually competes. Ontario Gladney, he's 3-0 as an amateur. Lige Mitchell, he's 4-0 and just won a title all within 1 year, and he's probably soon to go pro. Daniel Hankins is out there somewhere. I haven't seen him since Christmas. Uh, I'm guessing that he'll return at some point. And I got a couple guys that are debuts that are coming up. My good buddy Casper Caldwell, he's 1-0 in bare knuckle. He actually just won a pro boxing match in November and retired, but he's still helping coach at the
That's
gym.
that must be like super rewarding to like actually do that. Like it's got to be a combination of being rewarding but also being like incredibly stressful. And I think I'm guessing I'm trying to look at it from your perspective, Ben, and I think one of the things that would stress me out would be negotiating with other coaches, negotiating with other promotions, and kind of like being that kind of middleman. And that's got to be frustrating to say the least. Like
Sometimes
I think I would hate that.
sometimes, but like I'll like if they're doing something I don't like I'll just tell them. I'll just shut them down.
Like
I don't
we're
mind
out.
negotiation, but we actually have a guy that manages our amateur fighters. That he gets some sponsorships, helps them sell tickets. He deals with the promotions. He does a lot of stuff for them. His name's John Salisbury. He's a great guy and like a real asset to the team. He's not my manager, but he does a phenomenal job of taking care of these guys. He made them five figures split three ways in the last quarter of last year, pretty much, like
Well,
getting them sponsors and stuff. I wish I'd had somebody doing that for me when I was coming up. But promotion wise, though, if they do something I don't like, I will straight up balk on them like a pissed off mule. Like they don't want to go there with me. But the promotions in Mississippi would actually, I guess, because I've been so. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I'm good for the sport,
yeah,
good
absolutely.
ambassador, and I try to be. I bring a crowd in, either whether whatever I'm doing there. I'm gonna bring people in if I can. Yeah, nobody really gives me any flack. They would actually offer me better care for my team, probably just to get us in there. So not. I don't really have that much of a problem with it. Dealing with judging and refing and hearing people complain about judging and refing and judging and refing as a whole is what is hard, and just kind of
Well, let's talk
they
about that for a second. Like I've seen you officiated some bouts at CFFC 99. You officiated one of my friend's bouts, Lydell Pogue. He's a friend of mine. And he talked like he was the one that mentioned it to me. I forgot that you had ref that fight, and I was just chatting with Lydell, and he's like, "Yeah, Ben ref my fight." I'm like, "Really? Like
he
I know he
he told you
did."
He told you how it was a perfect stoppage, and I saved that guy's life.
He said that you were a good ref. He did say that.
He knocked him out with an elbow, and I dived between them before he caught him with the second one. The guy was just,
There was some controversy there. You got some crap talked about you because some
oh,
people weren't
that
happy.
whole night, that whole night right there that you're talking about at CFFC in Tunica, I paid in to ref. They paid me $50 to get cussed out all night because I stopped a fight too soon. I could have checked on the guy
Hmm.
before, but he jumped onto a heel hook when he caught a guy's kick and got wedged in the floor and punched, not like TKO level punching, just like fast for a minute straight. But then the dude was hitting him really hard, and he was not. He was moving a little, but he wasn't moving a lot, getting hit. And I've seen enough people going for leg locks and wrestling to know, like, when you're stuck, you're stuck. And I probably could have checked on that guy before I stopped it, and learning experience for sure.
But a thankless job. I think there are a lot of people that talk a lot of smack about that job, but it's easy to
Yeah, dude,
talk
it's
that
hard.
smack when you're not the third guy in there. Like the
Yes,
amount of stress.
and
I
even then, like, you don't want to stop a fight too early or too late. So that night, I ref that fight, and they said I stopped it too soon. I ref Lytell's fight, and it was perfect. And then the fight after that, they said I let it go on too long, and it was Twilight Timmy.
yep,
I
yep.
can't think of his last
I
name. He's a
it
badass
it's
though.
tough to pronounce. I know who you're talking about though.
But yes, and Bubba Jenkins and Dewey, the Black Cock Dewey
Hmm.
Cox, or not Dewey Cox, Dewey Cooper. Sorry, they were pissed at me, and they
But
apologized to me after the fight because they was hyped up at the time. But like I didn't stop the fight, but he did beat that poor kid 10-8, 10-8, 10-8. And after that, I was just like, hey man, until I'm not getting here. I'm gonna hear it if I do stop it or if I don't stop it. At this point, I'm just gonna let y'all handle it. Y'all can just fight it out.
when you think about like your unique experiences, whether it be coaching or whether officiating, like does that have any sort of bleed through into like you as a fighter? Like, do you look at fights a different way, like when you're in there, or is being a fighter like a unique perspective to its own? Like you have so many other things you're worried about,
It's
like you're not in
it's
like
unique
that
for
mode.
me because I don't think about fighting like most people do. So like when I'm competing, I'm not competing, so to speak. I'm showing up.
Hmm.
And like if I'm gonna try to incapacitate you before you can incapacitate me, I don't think about it any other way other than that. Because if you approached me to attack me in that circular cage, or in Walmart parking lot, or the frozen goods sections of Whole Foods, or any of these places, like, I'm going to come at you back the same way,
Right.
as in I'm going to stop you, so to speak. I am going to There will be no decision. I'm going to come after you from bell to bell. There's not a bell in a street fight, so your odds go way down when there's no Big John McCarthy or uh Jason Herzog, for a better reference here. He's more of a current ref, but
Sure.
he's not going to be there.
Right.
And he is there when I fight, so he stops the fight. But I always just try to d- stop the guy, whether it be from striking him or submitting him. I do what I got to do to get the job done. You'll see more about that in a couple weeks.
Well, one of the things that I noticed about you, and I picked up on just whether it's watching the Edwards fight or the bouts prior to that, is you're the type of guy that I think that a lot of people underestimate. And what I mean specifically by that is everyone knows you're a big, strong dude. I don't think people really understand how quick you are until they're in there with you, though. You are very fast, very fast.
Very
Like you
fast
move very
and
quick, and
explosive.
I wonder if that kind of throws people off guard, like as like
Hmm.
in terms of like your raw athleticism that you have. That probably surprises a lot of people, I would think.
So I go to Memphis to train a lot, and here's a little scouter lookout for you. Undefeated as a pro, trains at law school MMA. His name is Danny Barlow. You're gonna want to remember his name. He ran track at the University of Memphis, and he may be and may have the fastest combinations and hands I've ever seen to be as green. I'm not going to call him green. He's a pro now. And I was sparring with him a few weeks ago, and he was like, man, and I was hitting him with some stuff like he's tall, rangy guy, but and he's super fast, but I was able to get him with some stuff. And he told me afterwards, he was like, dude, he's like, man, you was hitting me with some shit. Like, I didn't even think you could even come close to me. I didn't think you could get there that fast. And I didn't think you would even like come close to being able to throw something like that, a combination like that. And it's usually that's the same answer from everybody pretty much. It's
I
see
picked
it and
up on it.
believe it.
I saw it, and I'm just like, I'm telling you, like, it's only going to be a matter of time before people start figuring it out. And you put your stamp on Bellator, like, you're the guy. Like, when I think of Bellator, there are a lot of amazing fights that happened last year. But I think back to your fight. It's the one that that fight is seared in my brain. Of all the fights that are out there, that's the one that's seared in my brain. I like the
I appreciate
story.
that.
I like the willingness to go up in there against the caliber of opponent which he did. Nobody thought you were going to win. You go in there, you take care of business. And now like we're in a scenario where you're fighting against a young guy, Sullivan Cauley. And I'm not an odds maker. I'm not a total degen gambler, but I'm going to go ahead and guess like when I check my phone here in another couple weeks when they do the odds for this, I'm expecting you to be like heavily favored in this matchup
I don't.
against
I think
Sullivan.
it'll come in. I think it'll come in like even,
You
probably.
really think so? I'm
Yeah.
kind of like for what it's worth. I know it's not. Take it with a grain of salt. I checked Tapology, and like 85% of everyone is like on your side, which
Yeah. But that is because they're examining this guy over, and maybe they think is something like that. I treat them all the same. To be honest with you, Tyler. Like, so like I don't care if he's. I'm treating it like I'm fighting Rambo,
sure, completely
or
understand.
Schwarzenegger, any of those guys. You fill in the blank. Like I'm fighting Khabib at 205.
Real talk with you a little bit. I'm going to be completely honest. Fighting Christian Edwards, like Christian Edwards is one of their stars in the promotion. Everyone knows that it is what it is. No disrespect to Christian Edwards. I like Christian Edwards. I think he's fantastic.
Great guy.
I think he's a phenomenal talent. I think he has a bright
Wait about
future.
another. Wait about another 5 years on him, and like you're gonna see people are gonna really have a problem out of him. He's still young.
And he trains at Jackson Wink, a very reputable gym. The sky's the limit for him. I like Christian Edwards.
Think so.
He's
Think the
at,
sky's the
at,
limit.
at this caliber, and from like a matchmaking perspective, and I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to visualize this as if I were a suit in Bellator. And no disrespect to Cauley, he's a young guy. He's like 21, 22, something like that. Young guy. He's undefeated as a pro. But I don't know if I could. I would have expected a different opponent, is what I'm trying to say. And
I did. I
it's
did
no
too.
shade to
But
Sullivan. It's not. But I just thought, given the convincing win that you had, the knockout in less than a minute, I would have expected you to fight a ranked opponent, personally.
I know. But and now I'm fighting a probably just as dangerous guy. Because I mean, let's be real. Like he's not. Regardless of whose opponents were, he's not where he is for no reason.
Right,
They didn't sign him because his haircut.
right.
Um. So
And obviously his coaches like are confident that he has what it takes to get the job done. Otherwise, they never would have agreed to fight you.
it's a win-win-win for Bellator because if I win, they win. If he wins, they win. They're
Right.
building up two prospects for the price of one. I
Abs-
maybe they want to build me as the young gun killer, which is fine with me.
mhm.
I'm down for whatever. I was gonna fight Nemkov if that's who they asked me to.
Well, I think that's right around the corner. I looked at it for a second, like when it got announced and you put it on your Instagram page. I looked at it and I saw the poster. I went to Tapology right away. I'm like, I wonder if there was a different guy that he was supposed to fight and he had to drop off. Like I was a little surprised at the name. I would have thought you would have fought. I wanted the Machida fight, like selfishly. I know that's a fight that you want yourself. What is it going to take for you to get a bout against one of those ranked guys?
You can't ever tell, man. Like which Bellator's matchmaking, man. You can't ever tell which way they're gonna go. Nobody does. Nobody ever knows.
Yeah, so it's just kind of one of those things where it's like you
You
can't.
remember just a few weeks ago, they literally just had Patricio Freire was like, "Yeah, I'm vacating my belt, and he's gonna fight. My brother's gonna fight him instead." And they did that.
Is
Like Jaleel was supposed to fight Patricky. They scrapped that after he pulled, and they just went straight on to other stuff. You just can't ever tell about Bellator. They do what they want.
one of the things that I think about when I think about Sullivan is, I think you kind of alluded to it, Ben, but for you, I don't. I struggle a little bit to see the benefit for you. What I mean by that is, if you beat this kid, like, I kind of disagree with you. I think you're going to go into this as a heavy favorite. That's my personal opinion, but I don't have a crystal ball. We'll see what happens, and I know it doesn't matter if you're minus 8,000 or plus 8,000. You're going to fight the same. It doesn't matter to you. It just matters to the degens in their basement like me. But for you, you beat this kid. I think the narrative is, okay, well, it wasn't a fluke then. Like, but you know what? This is a kid he should have been beaten. He should beat this kid. Like, that's what a lot of like pundits are gonna say. Like, they're just gonna
I
be like,
feel that.
they're gonna shrug their shoulders and be like, okay, so it wasn't a fluke, big deal. Let's see
It,
what this guy's really all about. Like, where are you at? Like, how do you perceive the reward? Is it negligible? Like
the way
how
I
I
look at
think?
it, it's more like they were going to say that either way. It don't matter who. If I fought Machida and sparked him, they'd be like, "Oh, well, he's old and on a losing streak. You're supposed to." It'll never be good enough. I just have to keep doing it regardless. So, like I said, like you said, we both said it. Don't matter who, don't matter when, don't matter where. I'm gonna do the same thing, and that's when. And you can say whatever you want afterwards. You can call it a fluke again. You can get on. I told you last, no more tickets to the boat. All right, no more jumping on the boat whenever this is things off and going, because we ain't gonna have time to stop and turn around. We're going straight for the world title and for all the cash in the world.
I believe in you. I think you have exactly what it takes to fight the top ranked guys in Bellator. I
If I
know
lose
how.
to this guy, they're gonna flame me. If I win, they're gonna say it was a fluke. It's like it's always gonna be a lose 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 for me because I'm the one that's having to fight these tough MFs and beat them just to get held back. Um, not put on. I'm not on Showtime now. Stuff like that. There's always something, but I'm still optimistic about, I feel like win, lose, or draw, I'm getting a contract either way because, like, the way I'm fixing to fight him, even if he was to beat me, is you can't deny me anymore.
Well, I know that you have to look at it from a certain perspective, being the man in the cage and just respecting your opponent. I get that. Me as a fan, I look at it.
I wouldn't say that.
I just don't see it happening personally. I just don't. Like,
Um,
all due respect to your opponent, I'm sure he's very good. I'm sure he's very talented. But you have a lot of experience. You've been doing
let's
this a long time.
let me just I mean, think about it, man. How's he going to beat me? He's either got to lay on me or knock me out in the first round. Which one you think's more likely? And do you think I'm going to take either laying down? No. So I think we've got a little candidate for fight of the year on our hands because this guy's probably not go. He's probably not going to go easily. People
No,
say that, but how do they know? They don't know. I'm going to get to the bottom of it for everybody.
he'll bring it. He'll be ready to go, and he's a young dude. And I give him credit, and I give his coaches credit for taking this fight. You're a tough fight, and not somebody that I don't think I would put just any fighter up against. Especially if I had a young guy and I was a coach, pretending I was a coach for a second. This guy's 2-0. He's only got 2 fights. I'd just be like, eh. I think
You
this
got
guy
to
just has
remember
too much
these
experience.
these people still think about me as like, oh, he's lucky and he's fat. So if you can't beat him, you suck. That's the way they look at it.
I guess. Well, look at your
It's
old.
worked out for me a long time.
Look at all your other bouts though. Look at what you've been able to do, and look at how you've been able to win. Your only loss as a pro is like a Sean O'Malley type situation. I mean, I don't know. You've been doing this for a very long time. A very long time. You've been competing, and I think it works. It works. Keep talking the smack because people are going to be talking smack about you all the way until you have the belt,
The
and
strap.
then even when you have
And
the
then
bat,
after that,
yeah, and then when you have the
and then
belt,
after that.
people will still talk smack. But
Lately, I've been seeing in comments they say, "Yeah, well, he'll never be good enough to be in the UFC," and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about being in the UFC. I'm getting paid the same to fight just as tough guys. It's
I don't
easy for
understand
shut
that.
up.
I don't understand why people automatically presume that if you aren't in the UFC that you're not good. Like case in point, you take AJ McKee and you put him in the UFC, he's going to destroy everybody in 45. I don't care who you put him up against. I think AJ McKee is that good. There are other people too, like Bader. He was in the UFC and he was a very good fighter there too.
Double
Like,
champ when he came over here.
right? It's just
Then
like
you
I
look at
just
Nemkov, bro. Nemkov has lost and beaten Jiri Prochazka. Like, so you got to think he's right up there. Prochazka's destroying everybody. And he is. Like, Bellator's light heavyweight division is no joke right now.
No, I like Bellator. I think really the only complaint that I have about them is I think
Nova
they.
Manhov's top 10, and he hasn't fought for forever, and he's like 250 pounds. Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't like how they protect their people. They protect the ranked
Yeah.
opponents a little bit too much, and they pad their records by bringing in guys to lose. Over every
They,
promotion does it. Everyone does it. I know that. Bellator's very obvious about it. They don't give a
they are
fuck.
not bashful, no.
And yeah, it was like I was talking to Travis Davis. I had Travis Davis on my show, and he had to fight Diamond Hands Eblin, and he was just like, I figured out like I was in the blue corner, and then I heard one of the other fighters in the blue corner say like, "Oh no, we're in the blue corner. Like blue's supposed to lose."
Yeah, well, I was actually hoping to be blue corner again. I don't know if I am or not, but
Well,
I
time
think
will
I'm
tell.
red.
Ben, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you one quick question, and it's simply this: like, for you, what do you think your opponent does well, Cauley? I know you're like a guy that does a lot of homework. You're not somebody to take anyone lightly. Is there anything about his game that sticks out at you as being somewhat impressive? And just kind of where do you see your pathway to victory being for the bout?
His speed and his wrestling is definitely to be respected. Look, I'm not going to respect him that much. I'm still going to fight him to the death, but you know, definitely to be respected. It's like I knew what I was getting myself into with him.
Absolutely. And for
Nothing to
the
add, really, bro. I'm just ready to do it. I'm ready to go.
ready to do it,
And
ready to
I'm ready to
go.
do the next. I'm ready to do the next one after that.
Yes, sir. And Ben, as always, I really appreciate your time. I wanted to give you the last word. If there was any sort of anything that you wanted to plug or anyone you wanted to shout out, I wanted to give you the opportunity to do that.
Yep. Shout out to all the sponsors: JDJ Foundation, Worthy Nelson Law, Steels Dive, A Plus Barbershop. I got a bunch of them. The Gentleman's Company, Mississippi Wrestling Association. Can't wait to rep that in there too. Y'all ain't the only ones with Letterman jackets anymore. I'm getting mine on the 29th. My gym, Tupelo Jiu Jitsu Academy. Let's get it, man. I'm done with the talking. I'm ready to show you. I can show you better than I can tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Big Tuna. Thank you, Ben.